Namaste. Welcome my dear students, friends. So today we are going to learn about the computer basics. Okay. So here we are going to cover the various component of your computer system. Okay. So I have divided your computer system into two different parts. Okay. So one is visible component, another one is invisible component. Okay. So let us try to understand what are the visible components. So why I have divided this as a visible component, so that it will be very much easier for you to understand what are the visible component of your computer system and what are the invisible component of your computer system. Okay. So let us discuss one by one. So the visible component of your computer system are the mouse. Okay. So mouse, you already know what is mouse. Okay, you have, it is visible to you in front of your desktop computer system. It is visible to you, the mouse is visible to you, so you can see the mouse. Okay, so I have divided that component as a visible component. Okay, so one more component which is visible to you is the keyboard. Okay, so where you are giving the input to the computer system. Okay, so this one is also visible to you. So I have taken this keyboard under the visible component. Okay, so keyboard is a visible component. Okay, so another visible component is the cabinet. Okay, CPU cabinet. CPU. So CPU, actually it is not visible to you, it is inside the cabinet, inside the cabinet with other important components. Okay, as the CPU is the important component, so we can tell the overall cabinet as the CPU also, because inside that cabinet your processor is there. That means the central processing unit is available inside that cabinet. Okay, so in front of you, you might have seen in your desktop computer system one rectangular size cabinet is placed in front of you. Okay, so inside that rectangular cabinet, you will be finding one chip, which you call it as a processor. Okay, so as this chip is very important of your computer system, so we call the overall cabinet as the CPU also. Okay, which is called as the central processing unit. So this CPU is placed inside this cabinet only. Okay, so apart from the CPU, other important components are inside the cabinet. Okay, so as inside the cabinet CPU is very important, so overall cabinet we call it as a CPU also. Okay, so that is the important point you need to notice. Okay, so the next visible component is your monitor. So as you already know, that monitor, that is placed in front of you, where you can see the output. Okay, you can visualize all the information of your computer system. Okay, so that is the monitor which is placed in front of you, and that is also a visible component of your computer system. Okay, so these are the visible component, important visible component that I have put it in a column of a visible component. Okay, in the visible component column, mouse, keyboard, CPU and the monitor are the major visible components of your computer system. So moving to the invisible component of your computer system. Invisible component of your computer system. So what is invisible component? Invisible, which is not visible to you through your naked eye. Okay, so that I placed as a invisible component. Okay, so the first one is the processor. As I said you, it is inside the cabinet. It is inside the cabinet, so it is invisible to you. It is invisible to you. The processor chip is invisible to you because it is placed inside the cabinet. Okay, so which cabinet? This cabinet only. Okay, CPU, which we call it as a mainly the processor. It is invisible to you, that's why I kept it in a invisible column. Okay, so next important thing, very important thing of your computer system is your operating system, OS. Okay, so in short you call it as a OS. It is a system software. Okay, so in some other class I'll go in details about the operating system, what is operating system, and what are what is operating system? Okay, so operating system is a system software which is responsible for managing, controlling, maintaining of all your hardware and the software components of your computer system. Okay, so try to understand what is operating system. Operating system is a system software which is responsible for managing, controlling and maintaining the overall hardware components and the software components of your computer system. So whatever components you are attaching in your computer system, your operating system will take over the control of that particular device that you are attaching to your computer system. Okay, for example, if you will attach a pen drive in your computer system or your earphone in your computer system, so who is responsible for controlling and managing your pen drive and earphone? Your operating system is responsible for that. Okay, so whatever the components you are attaching with your computer system, your operating system is responsible for managing and maintaining and controlling your particular device of that particular system. If you are installing any hardware, if you are attaching any hardware, if you are installing any software, your operating system is responsible for controlling and managing and maintaining all your devices, hardware and software, hardware devices and also your software components. Okay, software. Okay, so operating system is very important, important software which is required to run a computer system. Whenever if you have went to the market and you want to purchase a computer, so you are visiting one store, one computer store, and you are just you have just purchased a computer. Okay, you have just purchased a desktop computer. So when you purchased a computer, what is the next step? Okay, the computer that you have purchased, that is visible to you. You have purchased a monitor, you have purchased a CPU cabinet, you have purchased a keyboard, you have purchased a mouse, you have purchased these four things which are visible to you, and it is in front of you. Okay, so it is in front of you. So right now, so that is the physical devices that is available in front of you. But until and unless you are installing your operating system, which is very important. Okay, so unless and until you are installing your operating system, your computer does not work. Okay, your computer doesn't work. So your operating system is very important to install. Okay, so unless and until you are installing your operating system, your computer is meaningless. Okay, so in the second step, after purchasing your hardware devices of your computer system, mouse, keyboard, CPU, monitor, everything you have purchased, the next step is that you need to install the operating system. You need to install the operating system. So most popular operating system that you are installing nowadays is Windows version. Okay, Windows operating system. For example, you are installing the Windows 10. Okay, so for example, you are installing the Windows 10. So Windows 10 operating system you have installed in your computer system. Okay, so see, so as a software is a invisible things. So I have kept that operating system in the invisible component list. Okay, so that is the part of operating system. Okay, that is the part of the operating system. Next, very important, that is RAM. RAM. So what is RAM? RAM is random access memory. It is a primary memory of your computer system. It is a primary memory of your computer system, which is very important in your computer system. Without RAM also your computer system won't work. Okay, without RAM, it comes in a it's a visible thing. It comes in a hardware. Okay, it's a visible component. So as it is inside the cabinet, so RAM is on which is also a very important component of your computer system. So without RAM, your computer system won't work. Okay. So more thing about the RAM is RAM, which you call it as a full form is random access memory. Uh, so this RAM is a volatile memory. Okay, this RAM is a volatile memory. So what is volatile memory? So it's a RAM is a volatile memory. So what is a volatile memory? Volatile memory means whatever the instructions or data are there in the RAM, until and unless your computer system is switched on, that is power supply is there, the information is retained in the RAM. Okay, information is written in the RAM. Okay, so whatever the instructions, data, those informations are written in the RAM. And when your power is switched off, the information, the instructions, the data will be erased automatically. Okay, it will be erased automatically. So RAM is a volatile memory. Volatile and non-volatile. These two terms are there. Just try to understand what is volatile. Volatile is a volatile memory. You call the RAM as a volatile memory. Means what? The data and instructions are stored when the power supply is available. When you are switching off your computer system, all the data and information will be getting erased automatically. Okay, when your power supply goes off. Okay, that means when you are switching off your computer system, when you are switching off your computer system, the information or data that are available in the RAM will be automatically getting erased. Okay, so that is the RAM. And as I said you from the beginning that RAM is very important component of your computer system. Without RAM, your computer system won't work. Okay, without RAM, your computer system won't work. So nowadays you are using the various capacity of RAM like 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, 32 GB RAM. Okay, so you can purchase any RAM according to your suitability, and you can install that RAM in your computer system. Okay, so see here RAM. One more feature of this RAM is that it is a very high speed. It is having the very uh, very high speed. Okay, so its speed is near to the processor speed. Okay, I'll show you the architecture in the subsequent subsequently. Okay, the speed of the RAM is almost near to the processor speed. Okay, the speed of the RAM is almost similar to the processor speed. Okay, so it is having the good speed also. If you are purchasing 6 GB RAM or 8 GB RAM, the speed will be more. If you are purchasing 4 GB RAM, the speed will be somewhat less. Okay, so it depends upon the capacity of the RAM you are using in your computer system. Okay, so RAM is very important component of your computer system, which is inside the cabinet, along with your CPU, processor, RAM is inside the cabinet only. Okay, next important thing, hard disk. Hard disk is also inside the cabinet only. Okay, inside the cabinet only. Why I kept it in the invisible component? Because once your hard disk is installed inside the cabinet, you cannot see the hard disk. Okay, so that's why I kept it in an invisible component. So hard disk is a secondary memory. It is also a memory. Like your RAM, random access memory, which we call it as a primary memory, your hard disk is also a memory, which we call it as a secondary memory. Okay, it is a secondary memory. It is a secondary memory. So see, it's a primary memory, it's a secondary memory. Okay, so one thing, try to remember that hard disk, which is a secondary memory, is a non-volatile memory. It's a non-volatile memory. That means whatever the informations or whatever the instructions, whatever the data you are just keeping in the hard disk, that won't get erased when the power supply goes off. Okay, that remains permanent. That's why we call hard disk, the information will be kept permanently, even though when the power supply goes off, when you are switching off your computer system. But that is not in the case of RAM. When you are switching off your computer system or when your power supply goes off, the information or data will be getting erased from the RAM, random access memory. But in case of hard disk, the information, data, all instructions will be permanently stored. Okay, permanently stored. Okay, so that is the case of secondary memory. It's a non-volatile memory. And one more thing, very important, is that I'll share with you. So uh, is a necessary component of your computer system to run a computer system. But hard disk is not the necessary component to run a computer system. So what I mean to say is that without RAM your computer system won't work. Without hard disk your computer system will work. Okay, without hard disk, if you are not installing the hard disk, if you are not purchasing and keeping your hard disk in your computer system, even though your computer system will work. Okay, so without hard disk also your computer system will work. Okay, your computer system will work. Okay, so the but most important thing is here, primary memory is required. Secondary memory you may keep, you may not keep. Okay, so that doesn't matter anything for running a computer system. Okay, so that is. And right now let us discuss what is ROM. ROM is also inside the cabinet only. Okay, ROM is also inside the cabinet only. So what is ROM? It's a read-only memory. It's a read-only memory. So what is a read-only memory? So let me first of all differentiate between what is RAM and what is ROM. Okay, RAM is a random access memory. It is a volatile memory. ROM is a read-only memory and it is a non-volatile memory. It is a non-volatile memory as a hard disk. Okay, it is a non-volatile memory as a hard disk, but its capacity is very less and its functionality is also very less. So why we are using ROM in your computer system? Why we are using ROM? It is having a very important role in your computer system. It is having a bootstrap program. Bootstrap program. It is having a bootstrap program. Okay, it is having a bootstrap program. So what is a bootstrap program? I will tell you shortly. Okay, so try to understand. ROM is a read only memory and it is a non volatile memory, and its size or capacity is very less. Okay, its size or capacity is very less, and it carries what program? It carries the bootstrap program. So what is bootstrap program? So we'll discuss that shortly. Okay, so it carries the bootstrap program. Okay, right now you understood what are the visible components, what are the invisible components of your computer system. These are the main components of your computer system that I discussed. So various other things are there. So in the next subsequent classes I'll go for discussing all those things. Okay, so the main important components of your computer system are visible component, invisible component. You understood what is processor, what is OS, operating system, what is RAM, what is ROM, what is hard disk. Okay, okay, you understood this total visible component and the invisible component. Okay, so let us come to the architecture of your computer system. Architecture of your computer system, how it is actually designed. Okay, how it is actually designed, and what various components is having the role in running a computer system. What various components is having the role in running a computer system. Okay, so this is a simple architecture. You can see I have given here input, CPU, output, RAM. Okay, what is input? You are giving the input to the computer system through the input devices. So your mouse and your keyboard are the input devices. You can identify in that way. Okay, so input means you are giving the instruction to the computer system to work upon that, to process that work or to complete that work. You are giving the instruction to the computer system through what? Through the input devices. So what are the input devices you are using? You are using the input devices mouse and keyboard. These are the input devices you are using to give the input to your computer system. Okay, to give the instruction to the computer system. So what to do, what not to do. Okay, so these are the input devices that you are using, right? So I have given my single arrow over here. Okay, so this is a processor, CPU, central processing unit, responsible for processing your instructions and data. RAM, what is the involvement of RAM? Output, here it's a monitor. Okay, your monitor is the output device. Okay, so informations are getting processed in the processor and giving the output to the monitor, where you can see the output in your screen. Okay, so this is the simple architecture. Okay, so this is the simple architecture of your computer system. So right now, when I will ask you, that I am sitting in front of your computer system, and right now I want to use my computer system for any work. Okay, so what will be my first instantly what I will do? I will just power switch on my computer system. That means I will just press the power button of my computer system. That means I will supply the power to the computer system. Okay, so I will switch on my computer system. So what happens next? When you are just switching on your computer system, what happens next? So your power has to be distributed to all the components of your computer system, right? Your power has to be distributed to all the components of your computer system. Maybe the input device, maybe the processor, your motherboard, your RAM, your ROM, your hard disk, your monitor. So power has to be distributed to all the components of your computer system. Okay, all the components of your computer system. So you have switched on your computer system. So next happens what? The power, the voltage will be transferred to the computer system. So first where the voltage will attack in your computer system, and who is responsible for distributing the power supply to other components of your computer system. So here this one is very important. So here one more component is there, which we call it as SMPS. SMPS, switching mode power supply. It's a when you open up the cabinet of your computer system, you can see the SMPS. You can see the SMPS. SMPS. This is SMPS, full form is switching mode power supply. Switch mode power supply. Okay. The first instantly when you are switching on your computer system, the voltage will first of all it will be attacking the SMPS, switch mode power supply. Okay, so this SMPS of your computer system, SMPS will be responsible for the power has come over here. Okay, the voltage you have switched on your computer system, the voltage will be coming to the SMPS. Okay, so SMPS, the work of the SMPS is to uniformly distribute the required power to the components of your computer system. So whatever the components requires how much power, so SMPS will analyze and decide, and it will give the power to that particular component of your computer system. Okay, so it will give the power to the input devices, it will give the power to the CPU, it will give the power to the RAM, it will give the power to the ROM. Okay, it will give the power to the ROM, it will give the power to the output devices. Okay, so SMPS will be uniformly distributing the power or the voltage to each and every component that is attached to your computer system. Okay, so the responsibility of the SMPS is doing that activities. Okay, So right now, when each and every component of your computer system has got the power, okay, has got the power. Right now, what is the important thing? Right now, what is the important thing? That your computer, your keyboard, your mouse, every component has received the power. Okay. Now your computer system should come in a working condition. Okay, it should come in a working condition. So to come in a working condition, what is the important thing right now? As I said you, that your operating system has to be get installed. Okay, your operating system, you will be when your operating system has been installed, has been initiated in your computer system, then only you can proceed for your different kind of works in your computer system, like for example playing videos, you play listening the music, or doing some MS Office work. Okay, so video editing, whatever you want, whatever kind of work you want, you can proceed with your work. But the first important thing is that your operating systems should be installed. Okay, your operating system should be installed. So when you purchase your computer, you have already installed your operating system. Where you have installed your operating system? You have installed your operating system in the secondary storage device. Okay, you have installed your operating system. You have just it is sitting in a passive mode. Okay, it is sitting in the passive mode in your hard disk. It is sitting in the passive mode in your hard disk. Okay, so you have installed, you might have installed in the C drive. Okay, so your operating system is sitting in the passive mode. Passive mode, you understood what is passive and active mode? So it is sitting in the hard disk as a passive mode. So silently it is sitting in the hard disk. Okay, right now you need to activate this operating system. Okay, you need to activate this operating system, which is in passive mode. You need to make it in a active mode, so that you can work upon with your computer system. So right now, when the operating system is sitting in the passive mode in the hard disk, you need to bring it in the active mode. You need to bring it in the active mode. So right now, your ROM plays a very vital work. Okay, here the ROM plays, read only memory plays a vital work right now. Okay, so what, as I said you in the beginning, it stores what? It's a read only memory. ROM is a read only memory, and read only memory, the size or the capacity of read only memory or ROM is very less, and it stores what program? It stores the bootstrap program. It stores the bootstrap program. Okay, so it stores the bootstrap program. So right now the responsibility of bootstrap program is activated. Okay, the responsibility right now, for what responsibility the ROM was installed. Right now the work of the ROM happens. The work of the ROM happens. So it stores what? Bootstrap program. And the first, when the power supply is coming, when the power supply, before distributing to each and every components of your computer system, first of all the SMPS attacks the ROM to activate the OS, to activate the OS. Okay, that process is known as the booting process. Okay, try to understand. The SMPS, the switch mode power supply, what it does, that it attacks first the ROM. The power supply is first attached to the ROM. Okay, so here from the ROM the booting process happens. So what is the booting process? Booting process is nothing but the operating system which is sitting in the hard disk as in a passive mode. It will just roam disk where the operating system is stored in a passive mode, and it activates the operating system. That means it runs the operating system. This process is known as the booting process. From SMPS to ROM, bootstrap program will run. Bootstrap program will run. It attacks the operating system which is stored in your hard disk and plays the role of activating the operating system, running the operating system. Okay, so that running the operating system, when the operating system is run, that means activates, it comes to the RAM. Your operating system has to be stored in the RAM. So that's why I said you from the beginning that RAM or the random access memory is very important component of your computer system. Okay, so RAM without RAM your computer system won't work. Okay, so why RAM is important, you came to know right now. Okay, because operating system is also very important. So without RAM your operating system you cannot store. Okay, as operating system has to be installed in the RAM to make your computer system to work. So the booting process. Okay, so booting process, SMPS to ROM, it activates the bootstrap program. The program will be running the operating system from your hard disk. Okay, from your hard disk the operating system will be getting stored in the RAM. Okay, now operating system is installed in the RAM. Okay, so as I said you, RAM is a volatile memory. So whenever the power supply is there in your computer system, operating system will be in the RAM. When the power supply when you are switching off your computer system, your operating system will be getting erased. That means it is again comes in the passive mode, that is stored in the hard disk. Okay, so loading the operating system from the hard disk, that is from the secondary storage where the operating system is stored in a passive mode to the RAM, and when it finally gets installed in the RAM, your computer is actually in a working condition right now. Okay, is in a working condition right now. So this booting process has to be completed to make your computer system in a working condition. Okay, so this process happens and here finally the operating system gets installed in your RAM. The operating system comes and it takes some space in the RAM, and your operating system will be stored in your RAM. Then finally you will be getting the welcome screen in your monitor. Okay, welcome screen in your monitor. This process takes around 30 seconds. So you might have observed, right? You are switching on your computer system. Then all those internal activity happens. Your power supply comes to SMPS. From SMPS, it is distributed. The power supply is distributed to all the components of the computer system. See, when the power supply, you can see the one blinking light in the mouse, in your keyboard, a blinking light in the monitor. You can see because they have got the power supply, but they are not in working condition. Because you have just put on the power supply. Coming to SMPS, giving the power to each and every component. Every component got the power supply, but they are not in a working condition. To bring the computer system in a working condition, other technical activity has to be done inside, which is not visible to you. It is visible to you in your monitor after 30 seconds. Okay, so these internal activities happens inside the RAM. From SMPS, the power supply also goes to ROM. Then booting process happens. That means the bootstrap program gets activated. Bootstrap program is responsible for activating your operating system, which is in passive mode in your hard disk. Activate it, run it, bring it to the RAM, install in the RAM. it takes some space in the RAM. Then finally you are getting the Windows welcome screen in your output device, that is in your monitor. Okay, so these are the internal things, the computer, the basics of a computer that I have covered in today's class. Okay, so I think you might have understood the basics of the computer